Y'all, the verdict is on its way this week, and Hallmark Channel is shooketh. We are talking about Aunt Becky and her fashion designer husband, Mossimo. Y'all, many of us know her as Aunt Becky from Full House. A lot of us know her from her cringy Hallmark movies. And then a lot of us, probably most of it at this point, recognize her face as associated with privilege and greed. Now, the federal prosecutors have officially made their request in regards to their sentencing guidelines for Aunt Becky and her husband in this college admissions scandal. So what they're asking for is that Aunt Becky gets 2 months in prison and that her husband gets 5 months in prison. Now, there's some extra things they're tacking on there as well. For her husband, they're also asking for a $250,000 fine as well as 250 hours of community service. Now, for Aunt Becky, they want a $150,000 fine and 100 hours of community service. So, y'all, we already know this is a drop in the bucket for them. And the community service, who knows what they'll be doing? Maybe like sweeping the floors up on Rodeo Drive. But we're gonna wait and see. Now, the government has also requested 2 years of supervision once they get out of prison. Now, y'all, we already know this is California. We saw what some of her co-defendants went to prison for. I mean, they literally were in there for like a couple of weeks, if that. So, y'all, they're not going to be in there doing hard time at all. They will go and touch the floor and turn around and leave. Now remember, this is all stemming from back in May, they finally admitted their guilt and pled guilty in the college scandal. Now this was where they paid $500,000 to get their 2 girls into the University of Southern California. And this was all done under the guise of pretending that they were like fake crew team members. Now, y'all, the sentencing memo was very telling. We're going to talk about a few aspects that came out in that. So in it, it states that Aunt Becky and her husband were basically coaching Olivia Jade how to interact with one of her high school counselors who was like not having this whole story. Now, apparently Olivia Jade asked her parents, should I put USC as my top pick? And this is what they said. According to the memo, Aunt Becky said, yeah, but it might be a reason for the weasel to meddle. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Now, the memo also says that Mossimo said that the counselor was a nosy bastard. And it also said that Aunt Becky was like, don't tell that man too much. So again, they've been playing this whole like, we didn't do anything wrong. We thought we were making a donation. Da-da-da-da-da. And so you start seeing the layers of this coming out and it's like, oh no. Like everyone was involved in this. I mean, they all knew what was going on. These girls knew what their parents were doing, the whole 9 yards. Now, when I was reading this, I just kept thinking about what that high school counselor is saying when he saw this news with what they were saying about him. And he was like slamming his Louis bag down and saying, lock him up and throw away the key. Now, y'all, they're going to be sentenced this Friday, so we're going to have to wait and see what happens. Personally, I'm thinking they're also going to probably be like, well, you can go home and like get ready to, enter prison. This is what happens with people with money. They don't snatch them off the street and send them straight to jail. They try and make it as comfortable for them as possible, it seems. Now, also, they recently downsized to prepare for this. They had a 12,000 square foot mansion that overlooked the Bel Air Country Club. And so they made some drastic changes. They sold that and they have downsized to an 11,750 square foot home now. So major change. They are going to have to really, figure out how to rearrange life and what to get rid of to make up for the 250 square feet that they lost. The new mansion is in a suburb called Hidden Hills. So it's not, in the hot spot anymore. Now, they sold the Bel Air mansion for like right under $19 million. And they bought the new mansion for like $9 million. They're each going to probably have a hard time securing work after this. So I can see where they'd be like, look, we need to like start saving pennies. And their version of saving pennies is vastly different from mine. Now, apparently the Bel Air Country Club had a meeting and they unanimously all came to the decision of, look, this house is full and y'all gots to go. If you want to hear more of my commentary on different cases like this, just click the videos over here and check those out. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.